What are we talking about?
War
Everything?
Games. Yeah.
Okay.
And we're live anyway. So
Oh, good.
because we're delayed right now, but it's okay. What's up, everybody? You got your boy Rob Wilkins. Move it up in the world. What's up? And by the way, now I have you on. Congratulations, by the way.
Thanks, man. It was an experience. I'll say that it was fun, but I was trying to catch up, and I know I'll just get better over time at it. But yeah, it was fun.
Now, before we go into War Games, I wanted to ask you this because of the fact that we have private conversations all the time and stuff like that. That's not previous to the public, anyways. But I wanted to say this is that we started the show in May. Did you, and you've been doing this previously before this, but did you ever expect to be like right here from where this show is, be a contributor all the way to where you are now within like 7 months, 6, 7 months? I mean, it's an insane ride. You and me talked about you having your own show, and then next thing you know, you're doing stuff.
Yeah, it's really unbelievable. Because I like you said, I did this before, and it was a long time. It was a long time ago. It was 1997 to early 2000 is when I was doing this, and it was that was without social media, so it was a lot harder to get in touch with people. And my my two, I only had two sources usually, and they both are long gone when it comes to wrestling. One of them unfortunately passed away, but yeah, it just was one of those things where I didn't see myself being able to contribute as much as I wanted to, and I just felt like it was time to move on. So I never thought I'd get back into it, but because of wrestling and my love for it, that itch started to come back, and Sean Rossap gave me a chance, and here I am, and I'm back into it, and I'm really happy that I'm doing it, because it was one of those things that I kind of just gave up on, and I regret giving up on it. But just coming back and being able to work with like great people, and like yourself, and being able to just talk to so many different people that I respect, from Jeremy Lambert, which he can't know that I have respect for him, so we got to keep that part of the storyline.
Now the question is, before you keep going, is that did you watch last night?
What's that? Yeah, I did watch.
Show from her.
Yeah,
they gave you respect, so yeah.
So yeah, but I need to keep my storyline with Jeremy going. He fired me as his agent, so there's a lot of bad blood right now. I'm absolutely just kidding. But guys like Joe Hobart, and just learning from Sean, and just everybody in general, and it's been great. And it's something I never expected to happen. If you would have told me 6 months ago that I'd be doing this, I would have told you you're nuts. So yeah, it's good.
I look at it this way, and this, since before we, like I said, we get into the War Games predictions and stuff, and we're being very candid about this. I would never thought in May, after everything, that I would end up having a best friend in a different state. So and that you and me joke around off on our own stuff is that we need to actually hang out and stuff. Like, friends like Sean and Orrin and stuff like that. But I mean, it's amazing to see the progression of where we are since May. And now that I've actually got bored when I had to be away from work for 4 days, and I watched all my shows, and trust me, I cringed the entire time. But the best shows I've seen in the beginning of the first 2 months are with the ones with you and me. And it's amazing to see how we both evolved since that point. Now,
the one thing I'll say is, and I don't give him enough credit, but somebody that I learned from was Alex Pulowski. I just saw his, not that I try to mimic him, but I just make sure that I'm focused and try to add a little humor, because adding a little humor makes things better, and that's the way I am. So, yeah.
Speaking
But
of humor, now are you wearing pants again?
you believe it or not, I'm not. Yeah, I am. I am. I just had to go. I just got back from running an errand, so yeah, I didn't have time to. I could take them off right now. But
Yeah, no,
yeah,
but I had to ask that because it's a running thing. But you're right. It's great to learn anything. I've learned so much from you and Sean and Warren. In an ideal situation would have all four of us do like the conversations we used to have. But it's difficult with schedules and stuff like that. But honest to God, I appreciate you as a contributor. I know your schedule is going to be more difficult now because you'll be busier Tuesdays and Wednesdays and stuff. But whenever you have a free moment, I know you and me have talked about you just coming on like you usually would.
Yeah, and I noticed last night when I was like doing the show, I glanced over for like they showed like the Young Bucks like book, like they were doing like a promo for it, and I've seen it like 4 or 5 times, so I glanced over and checked you guys out for a few minutes, and went right back at it, and I was like, man, I didn't even have time to really like do that. And one thing that Tony Khan said yesterday is he's looking at kind of changing the format for Dark. I mean, they had 17 matches last night. That's more than WrestleMania, and they do go quick, but when you're writing, it's boom, 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 like just going. And it was an interesting one, and I'm glad I started with that than tonight, because tonight's show it's a big one. This is a good show to start. Like last night I felt like was more of an audition, but tonight I'm excited, yet I'm nervous too, so that's a good thing.
I know I'll get a text message saying I killed it. And I'm like, I have all the faith in you, and having you on doing this prediction show is the right thing, because we've said a long time ago, all these shows for the most part, especially that draft we will be doing yearly, by the way, as we agreed.
Yeah.
That's contractually obligated.
Yeah, but the funny thing is we didn't get any, like, we didn't do good, but we figured there'd be NXT people involved, and there were none. So that kind of threw it out the window.
Yeah, but still, it's one of those things that I'm appreciated for. And whatever time you and me have and stuff like that, just like talking or texting and stuff like that. Like a lot of times when I'm down, you text me out of nowhere just saying, hey, I just want to know how you're doing. It's the same way with everybody else. But to get into the meat and grits of everything, because you're a busy man tonight, we got War Games tonight, predictions.
War Games.
Oh, God. So we'll start with the strap match, because everybody needs a strap on at some point.
Yeah, no, they really don't.
Between Loomis and Grimes,
it could be a pain in the ass if you do it that way. But
how do you see this playing out? This is the same match we've seen for the last few months. It's probably going to be the same way it ends too.
Somebody's food's ready.
Yeah, that's mine. My sister's cooking right now.
Nice. Strap match. I think it has to. Man, the thing is I think it has to be Dexter Loomis. I think it'll be a bigger. It'll be better for him to win. Cameron Grimes doesn't need the win as much as Dexter Loomis does. I think it'll actually build Dexter Loomis up some more, and it could get him to a next level, like for maybe going like after the Leon Ruff, or if Leon Ruff loses his title, he can go after Johnny Gargano or or even Priest. So I definitely think Dexter Loomis will win. He's my guy to win.
I think I'm in the same boat with you, but I think that instead of Loomis going after the NA title, I think they're going to try to push him to give him to Finn, because can you picture Loomis and Finn going at it? That is just insane. The psychological aspect of it. And I know I keep saying this and he doesn't need it, but let's say Finn is so desperate just psychologically as the prince that he needs to pull out the one character that could probably get in Loomis's head.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I'm really curious to see where they go with Finn. Uh, I really don't know who he's going to feud with next, and that's kind of cool to not. In a way, I say that it's kind of cool because you don't know who he's going to be facing. Usually, with like the champs, with WWE, like Raw and SmackDown, you pretty much know who they're going to be feuding with next if you pay attention to wrestling on the internet and stuff. So like this time, I really don't know what way they're going. Um, I I don't think Karrion Kross is going to be ready yet, obviously. So I'm wondering if Tommaso will be back in the title hunt. I'm not sure if they should go that route. So I'm really curious to see what they do there. But
Thanks, Tim.
yeah, so I could see Loomis and Balor going at it. I don't think Loomis is ready yet, though.
I think it's a possibility that it could be that way. Finn's not wrestling on this card, which is weird for having a takeover where the champion is not on there as a predominant center figure on this, which, rightfully so. But, with the main event being the way it's going to be, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, and it's really interesting to see the progression of it. But yeah, we both have Loomis in this. I mean, Grimes doesn't need the win, but if Warren's listening, Warren would be like, "Oh my God, I need Grimes."
Well, yeah, not stupid hat.
I'm not getting into it.
It's a hat. It's a dumb hat.
The triple threat match right now, we've got the one person that got the living crap beaten out of him the entire beginning of this year, going brand to brand to brand, and being beaten the living shiznit out of him. And he's the champion now. We'll make our pick on this, but it's a possibility that he can go from like a low, like he just constantly used. I don't want to say the word, but you know what it is in wrestling terms. But to being champion within about a year, it's impressive to see that. And I think the closest thing is the 1, 2, 3 Kid, where just like he won and then all of a sudden it went like that. But you got Priest and Gargano in this. If Gargano wins, it's a 2-minute freaking championship hold. And if Priest wins, well, they're going to let him run with it and feud with Ruff. But who do you see is going to win out of this?
This is the hardest one for me to pick because I could see all 3 guys winning. The thing that makes sense, I could see Gargano winning. Gargano, whatever. I could see him winning because I actually see what I could see is Damian Priest going with Finn Balor next. I could see that going. But I am going to say I think Johnny will win. If he doesn't, then Leon Ruff will surprisingly hold. I think they're going to move Damian Priest on up to like a different person to work with. Maybe it'll be main event time in NXT more for him. Maybe it would. I mean, who knows? I just think I think Gargano will win, and I think that'd be the right choice for NXT right now.
I think if you want to keep the progression of this character, they're going to let Ruff win just because it just seems like they're high on him. I honestly think if Ruff maintains it, like you said, Priest will probably go after Finn. But where do you put Johnny in this whole situation? Because you're going to make him go again and try to get after Ruff again, and then they add somebody else. The one person that's interesting in this whole wild card that were originally high on, but you haven't seen him on TV in so long, is Bronson Reed. And I could see Reed in a perfect fit in this situation. But I think Ruff will win it. But I think it'll be somehow he gets out of it somehow.
Yeah, and I mean, you're definitely. I can see that going on. The one thing that I was curious about is when like when Johnny, I think it was last week. My memory sucks, but didn't they show another ghost face in the car with Johnny the last week?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of curious. That's making me wonder if somebody's going to help Johnny get the title again. That's kind of what I'm wondering, but we'll
I'm
see.
getting really, really sick of those ghost face freaking scream mask people.
The thing is I like surprises. I really do. I think that's one of the best things about pro wrestling, and that's one of the things. That's one of the things so many people are excited for tonight because it's a big match between John Moxley, Johnny, and Kenny Omega, and there's a lot of speculation on what's going to happen. So it's going to be cool. It's like that's the thing. Like surprises are big, and in both or in everything. New Japan, AEW, WWE, MLW. Just surprises are one of the things that makes wrestling great. So I'm really curious to see what they do, and I think Ghostface will actually help Gargano win.
Kind of like the whole thing with Cena just popping out of nowhere at number 30 at the Rumble.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we'll talk about that afterwards. Just because I want to get my thoughts in on yours. But yeah, I think Ruff's going to win it through the skin of his teeth somehow. These are the only two matches left to talk about in depth. But like instead of waiting and talking about an amazing man, an amazing person, just to spread this time out a little bit longer. What's your thought on Patterson's passing?
Oh man, I woke up like about 5 minutes before I started seeing the tweets go out, and I just couldn't help but think about like the things that he's put into the business, like some of my favorites, matches he produced. Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart at WrestleMania 12. I believe he did some of the Hogan WrestleMania matches. And just the impact that he's had on a lot of pro wrestlers, like Kevin Owens, and there's some controversy behind him, and that's unfortunate. But I don't know what's true and not true, and that's something that is for another time. But from the aspect of what I know right now and his passing, it's sad, especially the fact that it's another person we lost to cancer, and it's just the impact that he'll have on this business, like the first Intercontinental Champion. I don't like where the Intercontinental. Let me take this back. What Sami Zayn's doing with it, Daniel Bryan's doing with it right now, or Daniel Bryan's had a little bit more impact on it. I like it. That Intercontinental title was always the second most important belt, and now it seems like they kind of went away from that for a long time. And I want the prestige to go back to that belt, because when you look at the prestige of that belt, when you hold that belt, that's like a stepping stone. I mean, yeah, The Rock, Triple H, Bret Hart, Kurt Hennig, British Bulldog, Edge. I mean, you name it. They've had like the biggest wrestlers have had it. AJ Styles.
Yeah, he just had it.
Yeah, that's right. AJ, John Moxley. Chris
Taker,
Jericho.
Yeah, the list is on.
I don't know.
On.
The Undertaker. I'm curious. I don't think he's won it.
Yeah, he has earlier in his career.
Man,
it was in the documentary they did about him and stuff like that. Not the last ride, but they did like, the whole showing about his career, like certain things about it. And one of the matches he had was for the IC title. It was on a pay-per-view, I believe. But for me, the biggest thing that Pat Patterson created, and we see it out of the big pay-per-views, is the Royal Rumble. and a lot of people don't see that and don't know it, but he was the innovator of the Royal Rumble. He's the one that put the component into it. And that's the one match, one pay-per-view that goes straight, as they say, the road to WrestleMania is to start at the Royal Rumble. He, to me, is, like you said, I don't deal with what's happened, with him and stuff like that. But the effect in the business he's had, he was a stooge in the 90s for a while, wrestling in the late 90s. He and Jerry Briscoe were tag champions in the 90s at one point. Late 90s with the whole McMahon, the corporate entity that they had as a storyline, with Taker and stuff, that whole thing. But the biggest part is that the effect he's had on Vince, in that he is a bridge between his father and him, and has helped the business in WWE in a capacity that is definitely going to be missed. Now, it's going to be interesting to see who picks up the reins from him, because Briscoe's not there anymore. So, and they just brought Finlay back. So I could see Fit going into Patterson's role as a producer eventually.
Well, Patterson hasn't been there for quite a while, though.
But I'm saying the impact he has when he goes backstage, people still look at him as that, like the whole, like you go and you see your old boss, but the impact of what they say to you, even though you don't work there, still impacts the way you work as your work ethic. That's what I mean, is that he impacted so many people's work ethic. The IC title, people still talked about how he has the prestigious. Jericho has got the most reigns on it, and Miz is right behind him. That title, to me, will always be the number one title, other than the top tier titles in that company and across wrestling. Because how many wrestlers and how many people, or kids, mind you hear them talking about growing up saying that they didn't want to be the WWE champion, they wanted to be the Intercontinental champion.
Yeah, and that's for sure. To give you an example, like about the Intercontinental champion, when me and my little brother used to like wrestle, we always wrestled for the Intercontinental title. Not that we weren't worthy for the heavyweight title, it's just, that's what we were fighting for. But he'll definitely have an impact. And the Royal Rumble is actually my favorite pay-per-view of the year. I just really like it, and he'll definitely have an impact, and that's really all.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those things that it'll be sorely missed, and the outpouring of love has been immense. As somebody who's gone through a family member of loss of cancer, his family is gonna make it fine. It's really difficult at times, but it'll be okay. But him and as a whole, the impact he's had in the business and in WWE in general throughout his tenure there it's unimaginable, and it'll be sorely missed. You had the entire McMahon family tweet everything within about 2 or 3 hours afterwards, after it all came out. And that's a testament to who he was. He worked for Vince Sr. and, Vince now, and, he was an influence on Shane and, Stephanie, it seemed, from looking on the outside, and Hunter, and, it's going to be interesting to see where they go. On a positive note, since we mentioned Hunter, let's talk about the women's war games. I know it's kind of hard to shift on it, and and they were in the middle of talking about this. This is, these matches there's only 4 matches announced on this pay-per-view. So, you got Candice, Toni Storm, the 2 people I think that should be the tag champions for the women's division in all brands, which is Dakota and Raquel, versus Shotzi, Ember, and tentatively to be considered Rhea and Io. Now, what I think what they should do is keep Io out of it and have a Kevin Owens kind of spot thing where they bring somebody from the main roster that's not doing something very grand or dramatic. And no, I don't mean Lana. And have them do something that impacts everything. So, sorry again, Wild Boy, for your loss of your friend, by the way. If you need anything, we're here for you.
Sorry to hear that, Wild Boy. It's been a tough year for you, man. Yeah, I don't know. I could see a surprise coming. Who exactly? And maybe we'll know more tonight. Maybe it won't be a surprise. But I think the heels need to win this match. That's what I'm going with. I think that's who's going to win. I really think they need Candice's team to win. I think it would be better because I that's just my opinion. I think it'd be a bigger win for Team Candice for sure.
I think the same route, but I think that surprise person, and I've said it last night, the possibility is, Bailey is in between. Why not have Bailey come back and just, even though, they're going to have people in the Capitol Center, just, local, but bigger, that would be a big pop, and that would be something nobody would see. Or I'm trying to think who
they wouldn't do that with Bailey because they don't want to make her a face, and her coming in as a surprise I don't think would be good. I mean, it could always happen. I just don't think it would be the way they'd want to go.
Well, it's either that or you bring Bianca back. You bring somebody that is prevalent. Hell, Liv would be a perfect fit for that.
Yeah, Liv. Ruby. I think. Yeah, I don't know. It's intriguing because I just don't know what way they're going for it. And we could, like I said, we could know more tonight. Otherwise, yeah, it'll be a surprise. But I think all I know is that the Hill team is going to need to win. That's really all there is to it.
Yeah, well, at least, if they do this, they should have some stakes in it. And with those tag titles being in limbo right now and literally being in limbo, they got to do something with it. But you and me are in agreement. I think that Shotzi's going to come out being the last survivor with Tony, and they're going to start a feud with that right afterwards. They got to build up to the next takeover after this, and that's going to be around the Rumble at this time. So we'll see. But the main event right now, you've got Undisputed against For the Brand. And yes, I've been calling them For the Brand. You've got Cole, O'Reilly, Fish, Strong versus McAfee, Birch, Lorcan, and Dunn. Who do you have, my friend?
Undisputed Era. They need this win. That's who I think will win. If McAfee's going to be around longer again, then I could see McAfee's team winning. I don't think they want to break up Undisputed Era. Still, I mean they've kind of hinted at it before with like the whole Roddy type thing, like where they're pushing him to wrestle instead of anybody else. But I don't see. I think Undisputed Era needs the win, unless they have bigger plans. If there's bigger plans, then I could see the Hill team or McAfee's team winning. And I think it's more. This is going to sound dumb because every wrestling match is technically 50-50 when you think about it. But I'm starting to, now that I'm talking about it, I'm actually starting to lean more McAfee's team's going to win. But I hope Undisputed Era wins. I think that's the easiest way to say it. I think it'd be better if Undisputed Era wins. But if they're doing longer term storylines, then and if McAfee's staying around, then I can see McAfee's team doing it. But right now, I'm going to lean towards McAfee for now, and it could change.
I think this could possibly be the send off for Undisputed Era, just because of with the short rosters happening in the main on Raw itself and how bad Raw is. I think that if they brought the UE up, even if it's just on a permanent basis, just to start something, just to ramp up the Rumble a little bit, I think it would give them an injection on Raw. And for me as a viewer, not as a podcaster, it would make me want to watch Raw more to see what Cole does, what Fish does, O'Reilly, that whole Strong, all of them, what they would do on Raw and run Rickshaw. Because let's be honest, Retribution's kind of just holding by a single thread. There's no predominant tag team that can face against, the New Day. And literally, it would inject new blood. What are you going to do? You could put Lee and Riddle in a tag match and let them go at it. I mean, that would be awesome, but it wouldn't gain my interest. I like them as single wrestlers rather than tag wrestlers. And if you put the UE in there and you put, Strong and Fish as a tag and let them go after New Day and, Cole going after, McIntyre or something like that, that would infuse more blood into it. And if that's the case, and if that does happen, just because of how short the rosters are, how bad the ratings are, and if USA is asking for the plug on it, and plus you have the original heart of NXT sitting there as your champion. So, I mean, you could survive building up the Rumble aspect of with having the UE up on the main roster, like they did with Gargano, Ricochet, Black, and Ciampa for a short time, having them going to both SmackDown and Raw and NXT for a little bit, and just put more injection into those two top brands you have, and it makes more sense. Now, having Finn there, that will save NXT from collapsing dramatically, because people are still interested in Finn and the matchups that you could have there. And the women's division is literally the second best women's division in the world. So for me, I think that they're going to give it for the brand. They're going to give it for Dunn only, all of them with McAfee as the mouthpiece. And they're not going to allow McAfee lose again to Cole, and that could set up a rubber match between them just by themselves, but we'll see. But I as it pains me to say this, I'm going for the brand over the UE.
Yeah. I don't think they can take Undisputed Era away from NXT. I just don't think they can do it yet. And maybe they are. I mean, there's always that maybe. I don't think they should. I just don't really know. Like McAfee, he did really well when he started this, and it's been going really good. And maybe he is going to be around, but I just have a feeling that, I still go back and forth. And this is the thing. I'm looking forward to this match more than I'm looking forward to any other match, because it's War Games, it's the big match, or so yeah, that's that match is the one, and I'm like everybody else that for the most part I think everybody's wanting to watch that match more than any other one. And that's the thing. It's just what's good is I could see it going either way. And that's different than how Survivor Series was with Roman and Drew. You know, we pretty much everybody knew that Roman was going to win, and I like going into main events really not having an idea who's going to win, and that's one thing that's again good about wrestling, the surprise. You know, you just don't really know what way they're leaning, and yeah, I just know it's going to be good. That I know, and that's what I'm ready for the most. Is just a
I'm with
kick-ass
you.
main event.
I'm with you fully. I'm excited for the unknown aspect of this. I'm getting tired of the predictability of the top title. Obviously, you already know who's going to win before you go into it. Like this whole pay-per-view compared to the regular main roster pay-per-views and some of the takeovers, you don't know what's going to happen, and I'm excited for that. I mean, it's different, it's new, and it makes you sit there and be like the whole old school thing about it. I think Sean wants to hop in. If you want to hop in, Sean, just hop in. Say it, man. I'll send you the thing. But I do think Sean will probably win all the matches.
Yeah, Sean will win. I wonder. Like you said there, the predictability. I was not. I don't like the fact, and this isn't a brag or anything. I don't like the fact that I predicted every Survivor Series match correct. I don't like that. I like I like seeing the different stuff. Like I don't want to predict matches, and that's just the way. Like when you watch a match, you just think, okay, who's going to win this match? Beforehand, it's just the way that the WWE is right now. It's giving you a lot of predictability, and I think what's so good about WWE is, and it doesn't happen enough, is they don't give us that unpredictability. They don't. I mean, they don't. Not all the time. Sometimes, and when they do, they usually mess it up. I mean, I know that first week, like with Retribution and Ali being part of it, or I say first week, I meant first week with Ali being part of it.
Yeah,
we got pretty excited, and then all of a sudden, it didn't do any favors, and I just want it to be something I can't predict. I want stuff to come out of left field. Like
you want the randomness of something not predicted, or you want the unpredictability of it. You don't want to be sitting there and being like, that was going to happen. Like everybody knew Jay wasn't going to win, but they wanted to see how it all played out. It's just, I like that old school aspect of it. Like you went into and go check this out. Go check out Match Memories, the live version that Rob hosted. Literally, it felt weird not being in this side, but by the way, you did an amazing job. By the
Thanks,
way, man. You didn't know going into that Hell in a Cell match what would happen. It was not, predictive Taker was going to come out and win the match, or Foley would end up being through the cage or anything. You like that. You don't like going into a situation where it's just like, whatever. So, but like I said, I said that about saying is, Sean could come in at any time. It's an open door policy, guys. Anytime anybody wants to come in, they're more than welcome. And to be honest with, Fightful all around, I got nothing but love for them and love everybody over there. So, but it's going to be fun to see what they do. It's going to be fun to see how everything plays out. Now, with the 2 war games, who do you think is going to be the last people standing?
With the men's side, I think it's going to be Adam Cole and McAfee. With the women, I think it's going to be Candace and Rhea.
I think it more so is going to be Io and Dakota at the end. But a good situation would really be good if they played this out just perfectly. Would be Shotzi and Candace, just how everything played out, and just have that way.
Yeah.
So I mean, we'll see. We gotta tune in, on Sunday and check it out. But I have much love for you, my friend. I appreciate your time and everything you've done. It's amazing how much we've both gone through and how much everything has changed in this show and what you've done in general in 7 months.
Thank you.
So,
yeah, it's fun.
So tell them where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at Rob Wilkins. On Tuesdays, I cover AEW Dark for Fightful, doing the live results. And on Wednesdays, tonight, I'll be doing AEW Dynamite. And then you can check out my sports writing. Right now, I'm actually writing about LeBron James' contract extension. That article should be up tonight on shootingthesportsish.com. Just trying to stay busy is what I'm doing, and I appreciate you giving me the time to promote myself. So thank you very much for that.
It's not promoting yourself, my friend. It's you doing what you love and what you're doing. And what we've talked about is about the TV station that we're going to develop on YouTube is that it's going to give people the platform of doing it. Now, what I was going to say, and I'll say it on the air, is just you're just going to be keeping an eye on it and seeing how it goes, rather than just being like, where my days off, I'll be having my laptop on and I'll be sitting there, producing and just keeping an eye on the chats and stuff. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes. People are very positive on the idea, so it gives people kind of like Wrestling Plug a video outlet to talk about what they want. It'll give Ray Callahan, DKU, everybody who wants to be on a specific day, a time, and they don't want to deal with the hassle of having a YouTube set up, want to have to deal with the production. All they want to do is just sit down, get in, and talk. And that will give them the flexibility to do it. And having DK and you just oversee some of the stuff, make sure these people understand certain things, with me, it's going to be fun because it gives us another element. And look at it this way too. I was talking to a buddy of mine. It gives you another feather in your cap when you fill out for an application for a job or something like that and say, hey, I have this skill and I can do this, rather than just be like, oh yeah, it's just a podcast. It's a way to convey certain things and it makes it a better point to it. So that will be happening next year, and we'll be starting to get on the ball after the first because, well, Rob's a busy man and his time is very, very precious. Fightful's on tonight. They had Listen to Your Boy this afternoon. It was amazing. Then you've got Sean DeFelice and the one and only Alex Pulaski with the Wednesday Night Wars. I will be on Wrestling Plug's, prediction show. We're going to talk about that. There will no be podcast this week. I need a little break. I've been running ragged, exhausted for work and stuff. So I'm going to take a week off, and then we'll pick it up the following week. Check out last night's show. That was awesome. Having the distraction and Joel Pearl and Hannah on, that was really fun. Other than that, Rob, I got nothing to love for you. I appreciate the entire 7 months of you as a contributor. The sky's the limit with you, with everything you're doing, and you're always welcome back here anytime.
Thank you.
So good to do a good deed, pay it forward, sit back and relax. You got Omega and Moxley tonight, and we'll see what happens with NXT. War Games coming up Sunday. Let's see what happens. We're out.
Peace.